should the Indianapolis Colts trade up to number 1? There's another option on the table. No one has been talking about. That is swapping with the Arizona Cardinals at 3. First of all, let me ask you this question. Is there a quarterback in this draft that is the guy that the Colts should trade up for? Do you think they'll be able to stay where they are? Maybe swap with the Cardinals. If so, who is it? Who do you think is the guy? Who do you think the Colts... Who do you think is worth trading up for? That's my question. I'm going to give you my thoughts in a moment. I'd like to welcome you to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where your fans welcome. If you enjoy this video, if you enjoy NFL content, Colts content, draft, offseason, all this stuff is coming up. Well, offseason's here, draft is coming up. Make sure you like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you do not miss any future videos. It's a place for you. Promise you will not regret it. Is there the guy in this draft? I say no. Bryce Young, as I've already said, he could play. No one ever has questioned Bryce Young's ability to play ball. We question, how long can he play ball for? How much will his height affect him? I ask how long he'll play ball for because he's small. He weighed in 204 pounds at the combine. He's 5'10" and an 1/8 inch. That frame, can it last longer than 5 years? By the time, if you draft him in the first, by the time he's on with his rookie year, or his rookie deal, and then if you tack on the 5th-year option, since he's a first-rounder, then you have to sign him to a contract. That's already 5 years down. Can he last that long? He's a 300-pound lineman barreling on him. Kyler Murray's really struggling with injuries. He's a smaller quarterback. I would say Lamar Jackson, but he's not really smaller. Caught up with Cam Newton. Cam Newton just was high, went low really fast. He just fell off a cliff. He did last pretty long, and he was pretty good for a little while. I just don't know if I take that at number 1, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. Other small quarterbacks. 2 guys that are the exception to the rule. Russell Wilson, Drew Brees. There's probably more out there. These are the 2 I'm talking about right now. These 2 are an exception to the rule. Bryce Young, could he stay healthy? It's going to be difficult for him to also see over 6'5", 6'5" to 8" offensive linemen to read the middle of the field. Metrics show for quarterbacks on the shorter side, they struggle with accuracy over the middle of the field. They struggle with reading over the middle of the field. Often miss throws, often miss open receivers. It's just a taller quarterback has a lot less limitations than a short quarterback does. They just don't have those limitations, or they're non-existent. Sometimes you got to scheme an offensive lineman to move this way so we could see the lane. So the throwing lane's there for the short guy. Sometimes you still need a throwing lane for a bigger quarterback, which you do, but it's not as, the bigger guy could more often than not throw over the line. Could. Unless it's a short pass, you kind of need to throw in lane a little more. Bryce Young can throw from all angles. Can do everything. As I said, the play isn't a question. There are just too many questions about the size. Is it going to translate to the NFL? Could he do it in the NFL? He did it in college. The NFL is a much different game. Not sure if he could. So, I'm not willing to trade out for Bryce Young just because of the size. I'm being honest with you. I think he can be the guy. I think he has a very good shot to be the exception. But you have to be sure. You have to be 100% sure if you're going to trade up to number 1, give up 2 first-round picks, a 2nd this year, a 3rd next year, maybe a good player. The Bears are going to want a lot. It's a first overall pick, no matter how far you're coming from. It's going to be easier to top with the Texans because Texans right there. They don't have to give up much. They don't want to give up more than they have to. And it's like the Bears won't draft a quarterback, but there's that threat of the Colts moving up. The Colts, if they offer 2 first-round picks, a 2nd and a 3rd, they're going to take that over Houston's 1 first-round pick. 2 and a 3. We're going to take the extra first-round pick over anything. Please. No, that, yeah. Yeah. So, I don't see Bryce Young being worth it, moving up to 1. Now, you talk about these other 3 guys. More so Stroud or Levis. If the Colts are in love with Stroud or Levis, they may want to swap with the Cardinals. Now, the problem with it is, the same problem I talked to you about if the Colts are going to trade it to 1 if they want to. It hurts for the Texans because they have to give up more than they would have if there wasn't competition. But, man, there's competition. That's how the world works. So, maybe these other teams like the Panthers, the Raiders, are going to be willing to give up much more than the Colts because they're much further back. So, they're going to have to. The Colts don't necessarily have to unless they want to outbid them. Do you guys know what I'm trying to say? So, if you're at 4, you're not going to have to give up as much as, if you're trying to move. If you're at 4 trying to move up to 3, you're not going to have to give up as much as a team like the Raiders, the Panthers. They're further back. They're going to give more compensation. I think I explained it much better there. So, this is a trade that's going to have to happen before the draft. They want to trade with the Cardinals. Because one of the teams might want to trade up ahead of the Colts to draft their Stroud, their Levis, or maybe they want Anthony Richardson at 3. I don't know. So if the Colts move up to 3, they get whatever guy they want at 2 or at 3 that the Texans didn't want. That's what I'm kind of taking away from it. I don't think it's a horrible idea. It's just, I don't think it's a horrible idea. I don't. If you want one of those guys in Stroud or Levis or Richardson, and you're convinced that another team wants to move up with the Cardinals, then you have to offer something now before the draft, before it even gets closer. You know what I mean? If you stay put where you are, you're going to have 2 options instead of 3. So, should the Colts move up to 1? No. Should they swap with the Cardinals? Sure. I think that's a much better option than trading up to number 1, if you ask me. So, you guys let me know what you think. Thank you for tuning in to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where your fans welcome. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you do not miss any future videos, rankings. I have a DeAndre Hopkins video coming out in a bit. Maybe today or tomorrow. I'm not sure when I'm going to get it out, but I'm going to work on it now. You guys let me know what you think. See y'all later. This is JDW Sports Talk Show, signing off.